So what we realized is that we needed to go backwards. And I
Mm-hmm.
always ask my patients when I meet them, how old were you when you started using drugs and alcohol? And the most common answer I get is between 11 and 13. My patient from an hour ago started drinking beer at 12. The youngest I have ever heard is around 6. I've had a couple of patients that at very young ages like would find substances around the house and try them. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
fundamental part of understanding why addiction happens. So if a person
Yeah.
starts using drugs and alcohol before the age of 13, they have about a 2/3 chance of developing addiction. If they start using drugs and alcohol at 21 or older, that percentage drops to less than 10%. Essentially, the way I describe it is the brain grows differently when it is exposed to substances, which
Yeah.
that's one part. The other part is that the brain develops an association between the substance and a solution. So
Mm-hmm.
there's an author named Nick Sheff. There was a movie a few years ago that came out called Beautiful Boy about a dad's quest to save his son from addiction. That dad's name was David Sheff,
Yeah.
and his son is Nick Sheff. And Nick's written a couple of books. Nick started using cannabis like 12 or 13, and he describes in his books that cannabis fixed everything. My parents are going through a divorce and I don't feel good. I'll smoke some cannabis. That'll make me feel better. I had a bad grade on a test. I'll smoke cannabis. That'll make me feel better. I had a good day. I got a great grade on a test. I'm going to use cannabis to celebrate. My girlfriend broke up with me. I better go smoke a bowl. And what happens is when
Mm-hmm.
people start using alcohol or drugs regularly, we find that their social and emotional learning stops at that age. When they get sober,
Wow.
they're behind and they have to catch up. So we find these like 32-year-old, 13-year-olds, they didn't
Hmm.
actually have to face difficult situations. They didn't have to learn to regulate their emotions when they're having a conflict because the substance was always the brain's answer. And so, unfortunately, it's really hard to stay sober when you don't have those social and emotional tools to deal with regular life.